Hi, welcome, Skyra of Sovereign Vision Temple, and happy Sunday. And today I've been have recorded two videos, have gotten interrupted in one and the other one shut off. It's been an interesting day full of not like indecision or not really being able to make a decision. I think that's what it is. And I don't know if it's just I know that's also it's present in me right now. Um, and sometimes I think that we don't even need to make decisions. That's, I guess, what I'm going to talk about today is our ego thinks that we have to plan and we have to make a decision and we have to know and we have to um, know everything before it's going to happen, or we have to plan it all out. And soul wants us to just trust and be and allow and to not control. And isn't it funny? I keep bringing up this whole thing about control. I'm getting comfortable in my chair. I'm in my little work studio that I have here on this land today. To me, it's cold outside. It's like 65. It feels cold for me. So in here I've got a nice little heater and it's warm and cozy and yeah. So I'm excited about this channel. I'm excited that thank you for those who have liked my videos and are subscribing. I appreciate your support as I kind of just allow this channel to develop into without a definitive vision, without knowing exactly what this is, except to just share some wisdom and experiences and hope and strength and whatever else comes through. Sometimes I'll go into the spiritual talk, and then sometimes I'll be really down into the to real stuff, like real life, and it might be out there for some people, and that's okay. Um, I think that as our growth and our awakening happens, we see things deeper, and it just is. We hear certain things, and it might mean one thing at one point, and then it can be much deeper and mean a whole lot of different things at a later time. So I always appreciated um things I heard, and then I would like we have these memes that from social media, and I would have these. It's so funny because I can whatever it meant like 5 years ago when I would go back and look at like these different ones, and I was like, wow. And you see so much deeper into, you're like, oh, that must have caught my attention back then. It must have meant something. But then later, years later, it's such a deeper meaning, if that makes sense. Because there's layers of the awakening awareness process. And yeah, so today I was gonna start sharing some stories, and I really don't know um exactly what to talk about today. Like I said, it's been one of those days. It's been one of those days of indecision and not sure. And I think that maybe I could talk about the present moment because that's where I'm at right now. Um, about making decisions and not knowing, like we're in a certain place and we don't really know. Uh, it's like we feel like we're stuck, um, where we're not seeing any growth and we're not seeing anything happen. Things aren't moving or changing, and we're kind of in a stagnated place, and that's where I'm at right now. So what I'm doing is creating this channel and talking and the process, because it's an action that I can take without knowing the outcome. And I I think that when we sometimes, for some of us, we can get in a place of stagnation and stuckness and not be able to take any action because we're in our head. We're like trying to figure it out and trying to understand what's next and how can I make something happen, and it really we're just getting these really deep it seems like we're experiences, and just trust and being and sitting with it and feeling and not knowing shit. We really don't. And what a great place of surrender and allowance um and that space we can open up and be open for whatever may arrive. And like I'm not, I usually have always had like a vision of what I wanted to create or what I wanted to um and I always get visions of things, and I just it's been in nothingness lately. Like I don't know if anybody else is feeling that, but um it's not it's not really, it's just a place of this nothingness, a void, a void. And that's where all possibilities can arise in that space. And but a lot of times we think it must be on our time, um and when we can just sit with it. That's what's been happening for me for like almost 2 years, like deep, but now it's really intense. And I don't know if it's the energy of the collective that's shifting, where there's a lot of stagnation and a lot of unknowns, um, unsureness, and then, but we can sit in that space and not have to, we can just try to enjoy the present moment, to try to not try, but to actually to surrender to what is, to just be in it and enjoy the present moment, whether that is being in nature or creating something. I'm in the process of right now. Someone gave me some earrings, some older earrings to that she wants me to redo, and I'm remaking, taking all the pieces and making like updated versions of her earrings. And I don't know like what I'm, and I have all of these possibilities, but I just can't seem to really get interested. So, what do you do with that? What happens with that? What's happening in that space? Um, I think it's just something that's we're moving through right now as a collective. I think that there's a lot of people that in the wicked, we're not living in the 3D. We're not living in the physical, and we're moving in the spiritual, but not we're living in between two realities, because we still have to pay bills, and we still have to um navigate the physical, and we have to eat food, and we're not fully self-sufficient. So it's not an easy space to be in, and navigating two realities. um Does anyone feel that? Is anyone feeling that we're just kind of in this void place and not really knowing what's next? I'm curious to know if anybody else is experiencing that besides me. what I can do in this space is just to be have gratitude. And I don't know, I think I haven't talked about the levels of consciousness on this. I've done some of that in my private groups on the levels of consciousness and energetic frequency. And I didn't know something today. I thought gratitude was underneath joy and peace and love, and I found that gratitude is above on a higher frequency. Gratitude is higher than joy and peace and love, and that's amazing because if we can just experience gratitude for what is in every moment in our life, for whatever, however it is, whether it's what you thought your life was supposed to be like, or what you thought your life isn't what it's supposed to look like, if we can just remain in gratitude for what is in the moment and that, hey, I have clothes to wear. Hey, I have a meal. Hey, I can put gas in my car. And even if you can't, is there something that you can find gratitude for? Because if we can find gratitude, then we are also living in a space of peace and joy and happiness. And that's why I never had realized that that was above, that gratitude is above all of those, and which is quite interesting because I have been able, for most of my life, I grew up in a very, let's say, a negative, very, very negative uh, environment. Like everything was always wrong, and blame, 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 blame the victim, and or just gossiping and talking about this person. And that's been one of my biggest things to overcome, is like to, because we perpetuate the energy that we bring and we speak about and we talk out into the physical we are actually creating. So if our thoughts are in this process, in this place of, I don't like this, I don't want this, this is not what I wanted, this isn't what I envisioned for my life, how do we know that there's not something more amazing waiting for us? Because if we are in our ego and we are creating from a limited perspective, imagine what could happen and what could be brought to if we could just stay in peace and joy and gratitude for what is, what could actually manifest from that. And that's what I'm moving through right now. I'm learning to be in gratitude, even when it seems like something just happened that didn't feel good. Like I had a job this morning, and I really needed the job. Okay, I thought I needed the job. I thought that I needed the job. And then an hour later, she called and canceled. And I'm like, okay. At my first reaction was this contraction of like, how could this happen? And like and kind of a frustration. And then I immediately shifted my perspective into, okay, thank you. Because something something better is coming. Something bigger is coming. There's always, and all hindsight and everything that I thought that it was supposed to be, I found that there was always something afterwards. It was the silver lining afterwards. And it's not a bypassing state. It's literally a state of gratitude of, okay, thank you. Thank you for not for canceling that, because there must be something more aligned coming, because it was a mediocre job, it was mediocre, um and we really don't need to know. We really don't need to know. But we can stay in gratitude and we can say thank you. And knowing that that is one of the highest levels of consciousness to stay in gratitude, I'm absolutely going to stay in gratitude these days for everything. And and that's where we have where with the ego wants to be in fear and blame and shame and trigger, and but our soul wants to be in gratitude and love and know that we and trust and know that everything is happening and working for us and our best and our highest. And in that space, we can remain in peace. And even when it seems like everything's falling apart, if we're on the side of the road and our car breaks down and it's life. It's life. Nothing is going to stay all wonderful because we are living in this world of duality. That's like what happened to me when I talked yesterday about my land or the land I was stewarding in Hawaii, and all these lessons I had learned from not putting gates up and getting robbed and over and having most of my possessions taken. There was a big lesson in that for myself, that things that I couldn't see because I trusted people too much. I had these rose-colored glasses on, and I didn't know. I got to see how I was sometimes we can be too open as empaths, or maybe somebody who as a child wasn't able to set boundaries. Where we trust people too much and we stay open too much and we don't protect ourselves. We protect our energy. We don't think we deserve to be uh safe, or we weren't safe, and so that we don't know how to create that safety in our life. And if anybody resonates with that, let me know, because this is real. Either I think either we're living in these duality spaces, and so to come into the midpoint where we don't want to be too safe, but we want to be safe enough. And then the thing is, we can't ever really know. We just have to be able to navigate whatever comes, because there's no way to create a definitive safety. And there's no way to create this big wall around us, and otherwise we just live in constant fear. We have to live more in trust and allowance and acceptance. And in that space, we're able to navigate life in a place of non-judgment and a place of surrender and acceptance and just ease, because it allows us to be at peace with whatever is in the moment. Um, so anyway, I guess that was my talk for today. Ease, peace in the moment, gratitude, navigation of life, and no matter what our circumstances are, and trust that everything is working out for the highest, our highest light, our highest consciousness of this planet. And maybe I think tomorrow, I think another conversation would be grief and sadness and loss and death, because we are definitely dealing with a lot of that on this planet. And there's just a higher order of understanding that process. But so I would say that in our own self, in our own expansion of growth, we are experiencing like this death process of our old self, our old ways, to embody a higher frequency. But it's a rebirth. So we're going through these constant rebirths. So the death and rebirth process, which was talked about in the Bible with Jesus, where he was resurrected, that's actually happening with us. That is the resurrection process. That is the death and rebirth process. We are resurrecting ourselves through our consciousness on this planet, and we don't have to get anywhere because we're creating heaven on Earth right now. Not there's nowhere to get to, there's nowhere to go. It's right here, right now. So have a beautiful Sunday, and I look forward to answering any questions or interacting. And I thank you for your subscribes and your likes on my channel and any comments. Have a beautiful day. Aloha.